Hi guys, this is my very first review. I hope you like it. Today I'm going to be reviewing The Life of Pi by Yamamoto, which as most of you might know is recently come out in the cinema. I heard about it when I saw the trailer and I thought it looked interesting, so I decided to give it a read. If you want to know whether I recommend it or not before staying on, you might hear some spoilers, then I think it's one of those books that everybody needs to read for themselves to make their own mind up about. I've seen a lot of reviews where people have either loved it or hate it. There doesn't really seem to be much in between with this book. So let's get on with the review. The story is basically about a 16-year-old Indian boy called Pi Patel. His parents decided to sell their zoo in India, which is pretty crazy, because his father decides he doesn't like the way the country's been run and wants to get out and start a new life. So they decide they're going to sell up and move to Canada. And the story is split up into 3 parts. The first part is about major events in his life, and it's mostly about religion and spirituality. He belongs to 3 different religions and he doesn't see a problem with that, but his parents and a few other people aren't sure because they think you should belong to one religion, but in his words he just wants to love God. So I found the first part quite tedious, to be honest, because there wasn't really any plot and I was thinking, where's it going? I was quite tempted to skip a few pages and skip to the second part, but there were quite a few nice quotes in there and a few funny lines which made it bearable. If you don't want to know what happens, I'd skip ahead now, maybe a minute or 2. The second part is about his voyage and how he survived. He's been a lifeboat with a hyena, a tiger and a zebra, which as you can imagine is a very pretty, quite a bit of animal violence in there, which as you can imagine doesn't make the nicest reading. I find it quite difficult to read really. Anything more than a kitten with sniffles is enough to have me reaching for the cleaner. Then the story talks about how he has to form not a friendship, he realises he has to tame the tiger, otherwise he's going to get eaten. The story goes into how he survived, cooking food, catching food, preparing food and eating it. And it got a bit boring because there's only so many times he can say he caught a fish. The third and final part of the book is after he reaches land, he reaches Mexico, and Richard Parker runs away, which upsets him quite a bit, which you can understand because he's the only one who's been the entire way through the journey with him. He's been there for him, he's kept him going. He has a conversation with 2 ship accident investigators who want to know why the ship sank, and obviously he doesn't really have any answers for them. He's just a boy, he didn't know what was going on himself, it all happened so quick. He tells them his story and they think it's ridiculous. How could anybody possibly survive 227 days in a lifeboat with a tiger? And it ends with one of them writing up a report of the accident. They don't know why the ship sunk and that Pi's story was incredible. It's amazing that he survived, and then the book ends. The biggest thing for me was the lack of an emotional connection. I didn't feel that I cared what happened to Pi. I didn't feel worried or scared or anxious for him. At points it was hard to follow. I'd have to keep going back and rereading a couple of pages and a couple of paragraphs for it to make sense. I really wanted to like it, but I really do think it's one of those books that you either love or you hate. You're going to have to read it to make up your own mind. If you've read The Life of Pi, let me know what you think. If you've got any tips for me, please leave them in the comment section below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it.